One of the really significant characteristics of Jeff's leadership over the years has been his ability to engage pressing issues of the day from a place of connection and civil discourse and really education. And that's why I'm so excited that the speaker series is part of the Jeff and Lynn O'Grady Theology and Culture Fund. The speaker series is going to give us the ability to be educated as a church community, to engage these pressing issues of the day that are so prevalent in our newspapers, in our society, in our conversations. And we'll be able to bring in renowned speakers to educate us, to encourage discourse, and to really equip us to reach out into the community and engage our world from a really knowledgeable and compassionate place.
Well, there's an old saying that if you want to plant a tree, the best time to do it was 30 years ago, but the second best time is now. And I think that what we've seen, especially in the last couple of years, is a fraying of the public good, an erosion of civil discourse, the inability to take a position and yet be generous in your response to people whose positions may not be your own. I think the church has much to say about that, about how to treat one another as you would want to be treated yourself. So I think in this, especially in this moment, this intersection between faith and culture is quite critical. And we have a contribution to make there. I don't think it's enough for people to simply go to church on Sunday and not have what happens there influence and affect every other day of the week. This gives us an opportunity, I think, to carry on a conversation about how our faith speaks to the very real issues that we're wrestling with in the culture.
I think it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to open communication between people. I think right now in our country, in our community, everywhere we seem to have these deep divisions where we don't spend a lot of time taking the time to listen to other people. And I think that that having those educational, culturally oriented conversations helps to provide a platform for people to learn and to become aware of other ideas. And I think the more we become educated about everything, the better off we are. So
that is the nature of the church since, Paul was stamping around back in Judea, which is you are always trying to figure out in this world, whatever time frame, how do you fit our Christian principles and Jesus, saying to us to love our neighbors as ourselves. How do you fit that into a world that is, in our case, and where we live in North America, pretty secular? Right? And so reaching people can be done, I think, in an amazing way through, I know they're talking about having a speakers series and bringing people who have interesting perspectives, who are going to maybe tap people in a different way than just an experience at a traditional church service. So I think it's a way to bring in Christian theology, but hopefully in new and different and exciting ways. And again, expanding. At the end of the day, what do we want? We want more people to know about Jesus. That's what we want. And so how do we do that in community?
So I think the legacy is we continue what Jeff and Lynn started of looking out and looking toward community, and we keep it going. And now we're going to be doing it in a lot of different and varied ways because of the legacy campaign.
And I'm very confident in Jessica and those alongside of her as we move forward. I think we are going to discover new ways to be the church.
I think that the fund is a great way for us to carry on the things that Jeff and Lynn cared so deeply about. in terms of being innovative. I think that, they've always been innovative and willing to change and try new things and take on new things. And this, at least in my experience, this residency program is something really new and different, and I think has a lot of upside. And then the other thing is, Jeff and Lynn have always had a big commitment to learning and education and dialogue and having conversations. And I think being able to carry on the educational programs through the support of that fund will be very important and very impactful.
It's really an extension of things they've already done.
Yeah.
They've had programs in Sunday afternoons with speakers coming in, and have had 50 to 100 people attend these programs, which is almost unheard of, being able to do a program after morning services and asking people to come back in the afternoon for an hour and a half, 2-hour program. So it's something that they've already established. They have the model in place, and now it's just expanding in its size.
So it's vitally important that we learn our faith and we learn how to live our faith. And so we've been very dedicated to that. Throughout my entire career, I've had one foot in theological education and one foot in the church. And bringing those two things together, it seems to me, is really very important. I've been really dedicated to education, and Lynn certainly has as well.
At Princeton High School in New Jersey, where I worked prior to coming to California, there used to be a saying etched on the high school walls: live to learn and learn to live. And I think that that's kind of the philosophy that we've embraced. And I think that if you're not growing and embracing change, and we've done a lot of that, moving across the country, living on the East Coast twice, the West Coast twice. And I think that that in itself is an education. And so I truly believe that it's what energizes us.
Sometimes as people of faith, we are tempted to box in various parts of our life, to keep faith conversations in the church, to keep political conversation in politics, to keep our conversations about family in yet another spot. One of the things that we know is that it's important to have these conversations cross those boundaries. This speaker series gives us here at San Marino Community Church the opportunity to convene that larger conversation, to step into our community as a leader, and to provide a space that is needed, particularly in these divisive times, a space that unites people and does not divide them. Sometimes we have to disagree about topics, but one of my favorite phrases that Jeff used to say is, we can disagree without being disagreeable. This speaker series will bring in the renowned speakers, the experts, the people who have spent their lives talking about these disagreeable topics, these inspiring topics, these hopeful topics, the challenging topics. We'll bring them here to lead us both within the church and in our surrounding community in having conversations of meaning, of hope, and of promise.